Hey everybody, this is Katerina from Sustainably Rooted. If you're just joining us, welcome. If you've seen some of the other videos, welcome back. Here we are in our garden. It is August and I want to give you a quick garden update. We are in zone 8B here in kind of the South Seattle area, and we just got back from a trip, so it's been really cool to see things just kind of burst in growth, I guess. It's always a fun time to go on a trip and just see that burst. And so I want to go through and just give you a couple tips of what I'm doing in August. I would love to hear in the comments if you know, this is the way I do it, but I would love to hear if you have different ideas and ways. I might mention things that I have a harder time with versus others, so if you have any, I would love to hear it. And also, if you haven't checked out my other tour, please check it out on my video. I probably will miss a lot of varieties, and that one I did a lot better job of just going through the varieties, and if that's something that's interesting you. So we're gonna start. I have 8 beds, as you know. There are 4 on this side, 1, 2, 3, 4. And over here on this side, I do have 3 full beds, and in the back there's kind of this bed that's really not a bed yet. This used to be just grass like this, and we cut them out. It's a zero waste garden because everything you see is made from our backyard, or free. And the other thing to just mention before we get started is all of these a lot of them were from starts, some of them from seeds. And I'll kind of maybe mention that. Again, I think I did a better job talking about that in my other video that you saw earlier. So let's get started. I got pumpkins right here. As you can see, they're kind of planted back here, and the foliage and the vines are kind of taking over this way. Awesome. We got 3 so far right here. These ones are the fairy tale, like Cinderella style pumpkins. They're green and they're gonna start to lighten up as it gets closer to being kind of done. I'm waiting for all my pumpkins to have the foliage kind of die off and die back, and then they're going to be ready to harvest. These ones up here are sugar pumpkins. You can see there's one there, and then there's 2 more, just got that orange starting to come off. And again, they'll be fine until October. The foliage will wait. I've got these white boo pumpkins, baby boos, that's what they're called, that are in here. And I've got a bunch that are back here as well. It's really hard to see with all this stuff, but there you go. And then I've got a ton of corn. All this corn you can see is from seed from here, just direct sowing. This is my son's garden. That's why these are taller. It's from like a little bit of a raised bed. And some marigolds. My son has marigolds and green beans. This corn over here was planted a little bit earlier. So this is a great example of succession planting. So this corn here was planted with seeds, just direct sow right into the ground. And then over here, I've got another round of direct sowed seeds as well. So these ones look older because they are. And these ones are younger, and that's okay. They're gonna continue growing and do that. I'll do a video on corn. I just haven't done that yet. I've got marigolds down here, and I've got a couple butternut squashes, 1, 2, 3. These butternut squashes I did from seed. They're kind of coming into this aisle, if you will, here. I have not seen any squash develop quite yet, and so we'll see how it goes. Yeah, I'm not sure. I personally am thinking that they might not produce, but because I haven't seen anything, but I don't know. I've got 3 of the more sugar pumpkins right here growing on one vine. I did like a 3 sisters, which means I've got my corn, my squash, and my green beans. My green beans are right here trellising, and I don't remember how much I talked about in the last video, but basically as they were growing, I just really vined them back and forth up and weaved them until they're here at the top, and now they're kind of just weaving on themselves quite a bit. And the key for green beans this time of year is just continue to harvest them. I personally go in with scissors and clip them just right here at the edge. Okay, so sorry, I don't know if you saw, boop, right there, cut right there. And then that just tells the plant just to keep producing, just keep going. Okay, so this is the other side of the corn. These are my zucchini plants here. I did a video on zucchini, definitely check that out. And you can see these ones are the ones that are caged. And I talked about in the video what's going on here. So if you're new to the channel, check that out, because I talked about what to do. I also talked about why I do them in cages and the benefit of those. I've got blueberry plants here that we've been munching off of. So there's one here, here, and there's one over there. And for those of you that watched the other video, there was another plant there that completely, it's so sad. This was my tip. Oh, that's so depressing. Look at all the blueberries that were on it. And it just got completely fried because all the roots were exposed, and it's not a good story. So sad. All right, so that's these two beds. Then I've got these two beds here, which are mostly, they were spring crops, and then I'm kind of rotated them to fall. And so I've got, again, check out the video, I've got like a fall, like what I planted for fall. And you can kind of see that process as well. So I've got a zucchini plant here, and I've got 2 broccolis going to seed. And then I've got, these are rapini plants and radishes. I've got arugula and kale and some more kale here. That's my pineapple sage. In general, anything that's sprouting, as you can see, I'm just kind of watching, monitoring right now and seeing, you know, like for example, these two, I've got 2 here. So I want to remove the one that's weaker. So this one's a little bit weaker. That's the one I'm going to end up removing, probably. And I'm just kind of keeping an eye out, keeping the ground pretty moist and just watching. And I might come in and like thin them out, depending, things like that. My onions were in here. They did poorly. I haven't had any luck with onions, but that's cool. That's all right, because that's something I definitely want to keep learning about. I've got my beets here that are starting to sprout up. And again, here are my sad little onions that are just, I don't know. They're not doing great. I've got a couple of collards back there. That's what this is. Arugula is on this side. This is a marigold. And that's pretty much it for this bed. Here are some plants that went to seed that I've got set aside that are drying so I can collect the seeds. I'll do a video on that hopefully. I harvested my purple potatoes here, and I have a video that shows how I planted my peas all the way across. They haven't started to sprout up quite yet. These two are carrots, nasturtiums. These are parsnips right here. These are carrots that need to get harvested pretty soon. They're not quite ready. This one over here, it looks like the most ready, but these are not. Then I've got a bunch of baby carrots coming in here. It's really hard to see. There they are. Okay. Another nasturtium. And again, all along the edge is peas, and you can see there is one starting to sprout right there. So fun. So again, they're gonna climb up here as well. My peas in the spring did not do well. Did not do well, but. All right, so this is the bed, the 8th bed, if you will. And it's not really a bed. There's nothing really planted here. There's just a giant Hubbard squash back there. And I'm hoping to plant garlic there as well. And then I'm gonna hopefully move this rhododendron out. It's a golden finch rhododendron, I believe. I'm gonna move that one out. These are pickling cucumbers, and I think it's called pick a bushel is the variety. I'm just kind of keeping an eye on them because they grow very quickly to this size once they get started. And so I'm coming in and just picking them out. So there you go. I wonder, I don't know, but these seem to be a lot shorter and more compact than I expected them to be. I'm very curious if that's typical to pickling cucumbers or if that's just the variety. It says that it doesn't say about the length of the actual plant itself on here. It just talks about the size of the pickles itself. It says the fruit is 3 to 4 inches. So if you grow pickling cucumbers, please just let me know in the comments. So here I've got my lettuce sprouts really starting to take off. That one's older, so just ignore, that's not a sprout. There you go. I feel like my fingers were in the way, sorry. Boom, boom, lettuce. Lettuce, this is a broccoli. I had another one in the other bed that I didn't really show. Just curious, I planted it throughout the summer and I don't know if it'll get ahead or not. We'll see. Right here is spinach starting to go, come up. Here is regular cucumbers going all the way through here. And you can see they're the burpless variety. They're a little bit longer and leaner, if you will. We've been eating a lot of the cucumbers. They've been producing perfectly, honestly, because it's like we get a cucumber, eat it, have another one. It's been really great. Okay, so these are for my cucumbers. I've just been kind of keeping an eye and helping them trellis up. Okay, this one reached all the way to the top, yay! So there you go. Nasturtiums in here. I did have a bunch of green beans, like bush green beans in here that weren't doing at all very well because, of course, like look at that. There's no real sun in here. So I pulled those all out. No reason to waste the nutrients in the soil, honestly. And I planted cauliflower here. And I've got a sprout of cauliflower starting to form. You can kind of see it. Hubbard Squash. I don't remember if I have 2 planted here or 1, but I've got it coming up onto this, what's it called? Tomato cage. I've got my sunflowers. They're starting to do beautiful. They're so cool. I love them. How amazing. These sunflowers are not single stem, they're multi-stemmed, which means I'm gonna walk around. Which means that they'll have multiple. You can cut them, it'll develop other sunflowers. It's really cool. These are the giant collards. In the video from my other tour, they are, you can see, they're huge. Woo! I'm letting them go to seed right now, and they're really close to letting me cut them and letting them dry out. So I'm really excited. I've got cabbage growing in this one right here, and there should be another, oh, there it is. There's another cabbage popping up here. Cabbage. So again, I'll thin this out. Over here, I don't see any starting, but I did plant some lettuce starts, or not starts, lettuce seed through here and then back over there. But they haven't quite started popping up yet. Probably because they don't get enough sun. Distracted by helicopters. Big ol' Hubbard Squash. So big. So with the Hubbard Squash, there's another one over here. And there's another one right here. Look at that. I have big hands, but look at that. Oh my goodness. So big. With the Hubbard Squash, same thing with like the pumpkins, letting the, whatever it's called, the foliage die off, and then I'll harvest the Hubbard Squash. A lot of people are like, what the heck are you gonna do with that? Main thing, I really don't know how much I'm gonna do with 4 giant Hubbard Squash. Probably give a couple away. Maybe can some, I don't know, preserve. But what I am gonna do is if I can use any winter squash, like acorn squash, things like that, I can use Hubbard Squash. My tomatoes are finally starting to red, so these are gonna be red ones. These are red Candyland ones. They're starting to get its color. So I can harvest these right now. There's my aromas. I can harvest them right now and put them in the sunshine or in a sunny location in the house. But that's those. This is the one I did from seed, and I've got a couple tomatoes on it, so I'm really excited. Really cool. If I didn't mention it didn't come from seed, then it probably was a start. For example, my cucumbers are all starts. So look at this guy. So goofy. This is called inconsistent watering right there. That is a great example. What a great example of inconsistent watering. See how it's big on one and little on the other? Shame, shame. I can promise you it's probably from being gone. So yeah, tomatoes starting to redden and they look amazing. Look at that. Oh, so good. So many tomatoes. This produced so well. And if you saw I did make a tomato video, so check that out. And you saw that I had a problem with my caging, and it's bad. It's bad. That's okay. All right, I got a bunch of peppers going on here, which I'm really excited about. Same thing as tomatoes. They're gonna start to redden and get color. And I can harvest those, put them in a sunny location, and they will get redder and redder. Jalapeno plant is doing pretty decent. I've got a couple different jalapenos on there. I'm not expecting a lot until these things get out of the way. Look at that, there's another tomato. I have several tomatoes on here. It's doing really good. I was curious, and feel free to put in the comments, but I've got a couple that are almost like, look at that, it's got like these holes in it, and we'll see, but I can't tell if they are insect problems or if they're splitting because of overwatering. I'm just kind of curious, or maybe they're just supposed to do that. I'm not sure with this. I've never done this variety. Here's another example, so you can kind of see these like splitting type things going on. Just curious. This one's old German, I think. Old German heirloom tomatoes. Zucchinis are doing really good. So with the zucchinis, just keep an eye on it, because it will be like this one moment and then boom, it'll be like that the next. There you go. This one I'm letting go to seed. Let it go away from me, and I was like, okay, well, that one's just gonna go to seed. So then I'll collect the seeds from that one. Okay, this one's a nice compact one, the Purple Rain. It's doing great. This one here is starting to fall over. I just don't really have any real stake options right now, so that's what that's doing. These ones are the little, I don't know, they're like little jack pumpkins. And again, letting the foliage die off, letting it go on the grass. You can see it looks awesome. Okay, best for last. Here we go. You made it through the whole video. I'm so proud of you. And you've made it to my 2 favorite things. I'm so excited. I just can't. Look at this. Zone 8B, guys. And I've got a watermelon. My first watermelon is right here. And I've got another one growing right here. I'm so excited. Yeah. Watermelons need lots of water, lots of heat. So hopefully we can keep them happy. They're all from seed. That's the cool thing too, is they are from seed, from a farmer's market, from seed. Like, I collected the seed, and I don't know, I'm so stoked. I'm beyond words right here. And then the other really cool one is these I keep saying wrong in the videos, black strawberry variety that are cherry tomatoes, that are bigger than cherry tomatoes, so more like maybe like, I don't even know, they're huge. Okay, so they look like this, right? And they are starting to redden, and oh my gosh, these are so gorgeous, y'all. Like, look at that, they're so beautiful. Eek. Oh, so great. Okay, and I've got my cut flowers kind of coming on across the edge here. All my marigolds, the gladiolas are about done. Dahlias, such a beautiful, it doesn't even do justice because of the, let's see if I can get a different, I'll see if I can get a different one. I've got fava beans kind of coming in right here as well. And then more zucchinis in the back, just a different angle. So there you go. The only other tip that I forgot to mention was about my corn. So with my corn, I do want to keep an eye on bugs and insects and just be really careful about those. For me, it just goes really quick. They're just fine, and then all of a sudden, just earwigs will get to them, aphids will get to them, you name it. It just really turns in an instant. With all of this at all, to promote, like, especially let's talk about tomatoes for a second here, to promote ripening or to promote growth for that fruit, definitely trim back all the, like, as much foliage as you feel like. Definitely leave some foliage because that's how it gets its energy, but trim back foliage. So a good example of that is my zucchini right here. So on the zucchini, you can see that I have trimmed this back right here. Trim until this fruit is here. So that's a great example of trimming it back to produce, to promote growth and ripening. So if you're noticing that your tomatoes are really struggling to ripen, maybe cut back some of this foliage. Like, look at all that foliage. I can definitely cut a ton of it back and get those starting to redden and ripen. Great idea to do it before, you know, like, you're gonna be gone for a while, maybe, and I don't know, and you want to get them picked before you leave, or maybe you tomatoes, you have a heavy rain coming, things like that. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please like the video, subscribe. I want to hear in the comments some of the different things you're doing growing in your garden, but also what are some tips that you have, especially, so neem oil went on my corn already to keep the bugs away, but if you have other ideas on that, or maybe my onions, I would love to hear it. I hope to do several other videos on like how do I grow certain things, or on what's the word? Seeds, collecting seeds. So feel free to stay tuned. And the more you subscribe, the more you like, the more accessible it is to you, but also to other people. And my main goal is to create sustainable living opportunities for you in your home in a way that's sustainable. And I hope to do that with as many people as possible, because we only have that one earth and we only got one life, and it should be the best and the most fruitful we can. And I really appreciate your time. Thanks for watching, and have a good rest of your day. Bye.